how to save your company time and money just by using this one feature. This webinar is brought to you by GRAITEC. My name is Misty Scott, and I am pleased to be your moderator today. Oh, hold on one second here. Doesn't want to move forward. All right. As a friendly reminder, you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. You can also just scan that QR code right there on the screen. All right, very pleased to introduce our expert, our speaker, our man of the hour, the one and only Rick Kramer. He is a Bluebeam certified instructor at GRAITEC with years of experience in his field, and he is also a well-known speaker and influencer of all things Bluebeam. So if you don't know, now you know. Make sure you check him out on LinkedIn. Yes. All right, he has presented as a speaker at Bluebeam XCon conference. He's the monthly host of Bluebeam webinars and an advocate for Bluebeam and AEC integration. So thank you so much for joining us, Rick. And this isn't a Bluebeam party unless I start with some fun trivia question.
I know, right? You know what? I'll tell you what. We got to add to that bio slide. I think you got to put in there grill master, because I got to tell you, I have been killing it with my air fryer lately, making chicken wings and all sorts of kind of food. I'm telling you, I think we might have to switch gears and start to do a cooking show using the air fryer and, maybe give one away. I don't know. What do you think?
I was about to say, first of all, number one, I need to see these skills before I add it to a slide, sir. I need to test this out. Okay.
All right.
But you know what? All this is making me hungry, and I've got a question, you guys, that you probably saw coming, but I'm in the spirit. It's November. So the question for today, what is the most popular pie served on Thanksgiving in the U.S.? Extra points if you can tell me why. So not your favorite, but the most popular pie. You guys throw that in the chat. Rick, what are your guesses?
I'm still stuck on sweet potato pie because I don't think I've ever had sweet potato pie. I mean, is that a thing, folks? I mean,
sweet potato pie is absolutely a thing. Are you kidding me right now, Rick?
Many people will say that I live under a rock, and it may be, or a coconut, because I'm here in Florida, so it could be.
Oh my God, I've never heard of coconut. We have got a mixture of answers here. I love seeing that. And Edward said A because it's a New England tradition. Is it? I didn't know that.
What?
Yeah, apple pie was
knowledge.
I know apple pie was the one that I was not aware on this list. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys so we can get to what you came here for. I know that you came for Bluebeam, but I like to have a little fun. It's pumpkin pie, and historically. Pumpkins left over from Halloween in the fall harvest would be repurposed into pies, maximizing their use and minimizing waste. So there you go. Fun fact. And I will turn it over to you, Rick.
Wow. Well, you know what? I guess there wasn't enough people bobbing for apples to make apple pie. That's my favorite's apple pie. So maybe we just need to bring the heat with bobbing for apples. Let's do it in 25. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Misty. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on this fun and informative session on doing just one thing. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Pens ready to do one thing? Go ahead, Misty, bring my screen over if you don't mind. And there we go. Perfect. All right. I'm going to bring this over. Now, here is the big takeaway. Before I get into the one thing, right? I know I'm teasing you over here. Let's examine something in Bluebeam Revu that a lot of people, when they start working on Bluebeam. Now, by the way, as a Bluebeam certified instructor, I come across hundreds of different users from coast to coast on working on Bluebeam Revu, and I see a reoccurring theme. And that reoccurring theme is the way that they're creating markups. And the way that they're making markups doesn't take advantage of something called the markups list. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Here we have a typical set of drawings. And if I go over here to my tools drop-down menu and go to a markup, any markup, right? I would say 90% of the Bluebeam users out there just go to the tools, go to the markup, and add a markup, right? So I'm going to add a markup like this cloud. And I'm going to go over here and add a cloud and say need enlarged plan, whatever it is, and then go again and then do another markup and add another one. And maybe this one right here is for the structural engineer. And then yet another markup over here for a call out and say, this needs to have da, 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 right? And that's it. So they're really using markups. Awesome. But what they're missing is taking advantage of how we can work on the markups list. Time and time again, I see this over and over again. And when they create their markups in the markups list, they're not taking advantage of the subject line. Now, the subject line is a way to start to organize your markups and use them so that you can have discipline-related markups. And what I mean by that is, think about an architectural set of drawings, right? When we have an architectural set of drawings, if you open them up, you have architectural sheets, you have mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structure, right? And if you've ever been on a job site and you look at the subs, what they do is they rip out those sheets. Over here, what we want to do in Bluebeam is start to do the same thing by starting to rip out the different markups for the different groups. As a project architect, I want to organize my markups so I can give all of my markups internally versus externally, or ones for my structural engineer and other ones for my electrical, mechanical, etc. Right? Well, if I'm working in a corporation, in a company that has multiple people working, they all could be using different type of markups, different types of colors. And I think you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And the way to standardize this, you ready for it, is using the tool chest. That's the one thing. So you can stop right now. You can say, I'm done. We're 7 minutes in. I've learned what I needed. It's utilizing the tool chest. So if you want to check out, by all means, go enjoy your lunch. It's the tool chest. But stick around if you want to see how we can start to really customize this tool chest using tool sets, place them on the network, and then share them along the team. What this does, it creates a standard set of tools that can be utilized from project to project to project. One of the biggest time wasters that I've seen in Bluebeam Revu is that when people use the markups and they leave it generic. In other words, every time they go through here in the markups, they just use all of these markups, and those subjects come in as call out, highlight, arrow, rectangle, whatever it is, right? They pay no attention to it. Let's change this up in 2025. That's my New Year's resolution to you. So how do we do this? What we're going to do first, let's get rid of these nonsense over here, and I'm going to delete. And by the way, if you have any questions, hit me up in the chat area towards the end. Misty will read them out, and I'll be able to answer your questions. So let's take a look at our markups. Now, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an area over here on my drawing, just a little sample area where I can begin to create different types of markups. The big picture is I'm going to create a custom tool set. I'm going to place it on the network, and then I'm going to show you how you can distribute those tool sets and then have them be dynamically linked from your server to your computer. So this is awesome. So, but first things first, as an administrator, as the librarian, I'm going to start to create these tool sets, right? So let's go through and create a couple tools based on different disciplines. And then we're going to dive right into creating the tool sets, and I'll show you some tricks on how you can just add them as a local or link them to your server. So let's get started. First things first, let's go to tools, markup, and let's add some markups. Over here, you know me, my favorite, Cloud Plus. Why? Because it's the letter K for Kramer. Of course, that's why they put it there, is for Kramer. Misty, did you know that? Bluebeam called me and they said, hey, Rick, what's the shortcut you want for Cloud Plus? And I said, Kramer for K. And they're like, okay, we'll put a K in there. I'm kidding. I don't know if they did. All right. I'm going to put Cloud Plus, and I'm going to add one over here. And this one is going to be for arch comments, right? Great. When I select it, I'm going to go over here and right click and go to its properties. Now, the properties dialog box on your screen, if you're following along, might be on the right, might be on the left. Now, why is the properties toolbox on the left-hand side so popular and important? The difference is over here, now we can get into customizing all aspects of this markup instead of using just the top properties toolbar. The top properties toolbar is minimal amount of information. Let's go over here to subject and let's call this arch comments, right? Then underneath here, I want you to notice the cloud area. This is how we can control the visibility settings, the appearance settings just for the cloud itself. Let's pick a color. You know what? Since we're doing Thanksgiving, let's pick one of these orange colors. Now, something to keep in mind is you have to click highlight. Why? Because if I move this on top of something, it obscures that information. Click highlight, and it's now transparent. One of the things that you'll notice, though, that it's really kind of dark. So if I go back into the swatch of the color over here under fill color, I could pick a lighter color, and that works. But if I want to get a unique color, I'm going to go back to the swatch over here and click on the down arrow. I bet you didn't know that was there. When I click on the down arrow, take a look. Now, directly underneath my cursor, folks, is every color of the rainbow. Every single color I want. I can come over here and click a different color, a different shade. And from here, I can adjust its saturation. I like it being a little bit lighter so it's not so in your face. And there's something kind of orangish, right? Now, if I want to use this color over and over again, click the little plus sign right here. Now, this is all in setting up this one markup. So here we have arch comment. And then what I like to do is have a little oomph. You like a little oomph? Get a little oomph in your markups. Over here, what I'm going to do is the line width for the outside. I'm going to pump it up to 1.75. Now it has a little more oomph into it, right? All right, awesome. So we have arch comments. I'm going to make a couple copies of this. I'm going to select the next one and do MEP and select this. Boom. MEP. MEP, let's give it a yellow. Over here, I'm going to do structure. Structure. Struct. Can I spell? Type. Struct. Let's give it another different color. Oops. I'm doing the same one. Silly me. MEP. MEP. Let's give it a light color. I'll go to this one and do structure and structure. Let's just stick with these right here. All right. I'm going to delete this one and let's go back and change the color for structure. All right. Awesome. Easy peasy, right? We start to go through and create the different colors. Now, what I'm going to do is take these three, right? And if you notice in the markups list, they're now organized by different disciplines. Now, here's the thing. For when working in a corporation or company environment, you want to have consistency, repeatability. Blah, that's a mouthful. And we want to be able to place those in our tools. So let's go over here and I'm going to go over here and click on Manage Tools, click Add, and I'm going to add a tool. Now, right now I'm customizing it. I'm going to place it on the network and I'm going to call this Rick's Cool Tools and hit OK. By the way, I'm going to click Show in All Profiles. So no matter what profile a user uses, it's going to show up. I'll hit OK. Now, here's the key. Where do you want this to be saved? When we're working on tool sets and we want to distribute them to the entire team, place them on a network drive. make sure to put them on a network drive that everyone has access to. And here's the pro tip. As the administrator, have your IT set up a folder that is read-write for the administrator, for me. And then have a group policy for everyone else that is read-only. That way, I can contribute and add to those tools, and it'll automatically distribute. And the users don't have to do anything. And also, the users will have locked tool sets. That way, they don't accidentally delete them. Now, if you trust your users, you like the users, right? Have them all be part of the same group, and that way they can contribute. And as they add changes to their tool set, it'll get distributed to everyone else. Pretty awesome. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over here on my computer, and I'm just going to put it over here under classes and put it right here. Okay. This is on our network. Now, you'll notice something that's unique. If you look at my managed tool sets, all my different tool sets, all the top ones are on my local drive, which means any changes to them aren't going to affect anyone else but me. This particular one that I placed on OneDrive, on our shared network drive, you can go through and make those changes and everyone will have those changes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. You'll notice automatically it comes in with a lock. Now here's something that's really unique. What Bluebeam does is when you create this tool set and place it on the network, it automatically locks it. If I unlock it, I'm the only one in my team. If I have everyone use those tools at the same time, only one person who has it checked out can go through and add the comments or add markups to this. When I go back and click on it again, this locks it, and then no one can make changes to it. Think of it like SharePoint where you have check in and check out. And so this is automatic. So I'm going to uncheck it, and I'm going to go over here and add all three of these right here by right-clicking, going to add the tool chest and Rick's Cool Tools. And there they are. Let's change it to detail view, and then I'm off to the races. These right here are now placed in my tool set. Now they're drawn and they're placed over here in what's called the drawing mode. Now over here, what I want to do is have it be put in properties mode. And what that means is if I leave it as is, it'll be placed the way it's drawn. If I double click in it, each one of these, now it's in properties mode, which means it'll have new properties every time I place it in a new drawing. So the consistency is going to stay the same from project to project. Lastly, as I start to develop my tools, I need to go and write that information back to that BTX file. I'm going to hit save and I'm done. That's it. If Misty, if you were on Bluebeam right now and you had these tools linked in over on your end, all the changes would happen automatically. So let's go through a couple different scenarios on how we can add tool sets locally versus on the network. All right. First, if I just want to install a tool set that's just for me, right? I don't want anyone else. I just want to have a tool set. It couldn't be any easier. I want you to see. I'm going to minimize Bluebeam. I'm going to go over here into Windows and find the tool set that's on my computer. In this case, what I'm going to do is go to one of my drawings over here that has some tools and find one of my tools that I downloaded, right? If I just want to install that tool set one time and just have it transfer over, it couldn't be easier. Guess what? All we have to do is double click on it. I'm going to double click on it right here. And ta-da, it's imported. How easy is that? Could you do anything possibly any easier? I bet you pumpkin pie isn't that easy. So when we double click on it, what does it do? It added it right here to my tool set within my tool chest. If I go to manage tools, let's take a look. You'll notice it went through and imported it. So let's talk about manage tool sets. When we import a tool set, it's one direction. It's set and you forget it. There's no updates. This is under import. But if we want our users on the network to share one set of common tools, select Add. Let me say it again, because this is the big thing. When creating your tools, they're very easy to do, but you want to distribute them to your whole network. Place them first on a shared network drive. That's step one. Step two is when you have your users go through and bring them in, have them add the tool set. So let's see how that's done. I'm going to click on Add. Forget about the title. The title is going to come in automatically, and I'm going to browse to the network. Clicking the three little dots, and let's go to the network. In this case, I'm going to go to the network over here and find something that is on my network, like this one right here, and I'll select Open. Notice the backslash, backslash, backslash. Last thing, click Show in All Profiles. Click OK, and take a look. Backslash, backslash, backslash. This indicates that now, as a user, when I've gone through and added it, it'll be automatically updated anytime anyone on the network opens it up and updates it. I'll click OK. And now if I browse down, here are my energy tools, so I can start to add notes. Easy peasy. When it's locked, these two right here indicate that they're on the network. Everything else are tool sets that are locally installed on my C drive. So again, here's the big takeaway. If you want to improve your workflow and do it easily within one easy method, take your tools, place them on the network, and share them. Remember, sharing is caring, or sharing is caring. So that's it. That's the takeaway. Now, let's take it one step beyond. Bluebeam Revu 21 with subscription now includes Bluebeam on the cloud. That's right. You heard it first. All right, maybe not first. Bluebeam on the cloud. So what does this mean is that Bluebeam includes in the subscription the ability to take your drawings on the go using an iPhone or an iPad and use the built-in operating system on the iPhone or iPad and install for free. Just look up on the App Store, Bluebeam, and you can install the app, and all the information that you have on your projects or sessions will be available live on the go on your phone. So think about it. If you're an architect, a general contractor, a permit, you name it, anyone who's on the job and walking the job site and then back in the office, all your documents can be stored in a project or a session from the desktop, and it's automatically created on the cloud. Now, why do I bring this up and tool sets? Because if I want to utilize the tools that I've created here on my PC on the go, I gotcha. Over here under the tool chest. Now, this is in Revu 21. You'll need the latest subscription, get the latest updates, and you'll be good to go. When you go to the tool chest over here, take a look. Send tool chest to Bluebeam Cloud. Now, this is a one-time thing. You can always add tools separately, but the initial export of your tools, when I send my tool chest to the tool cloud, you want to have the majority of all of your tool sets open in this panel. You want them on. Now, having said that, if I go through and export this to the Bluebeam Cloud, all the tools that are here are now going to be located on the cloud. There's a caveat to this, though. Some of the tools that work on the PC might not work in the cloud. So give it a shot, have fun with it, and again, it's all included in your subscription. Keep in mind, the send to tool chest to Bluebeam Cloud is going to show up the first time. It'll probably go away after you do it the first time. But once you're on app.bluebeam.com, by the way, use Chrome to browse or use the app on your phone. You can always go through and load manually new tools on your cloud. So that's what I wanted to show everyone today. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, and sometimes on weekends. So Again, thank you so much. Misty, how are we doing on time? And do we have any questions from the audience? Or do you want
Yeah,
to see my cooking skills on the air fryer? Because I'll go get it. I will.
I don't think anybody has any cooking skills. They did throw some funny jokes in the chat for us, which I always love. I always love our blue
I
beams
love jokes.
here. I know. But we do have one question that came in, maybe two. But George said the markup area is not always the easiest to open, FYI. Often the window opens with the markup area dragged down and all the way to the bottom, and it's not obvious that it's there in the first place.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So one of the things that you can take a look at on the bottom left-hand corner is this little icon. They call it the hamburger icon. I don't know who they are, but everyone refers to it as a hamburger. If you've ever seen a hamburger like this, stay away. Dot dash. When we click on it, it's going to minimize the markups list. And then I click on it again, it's going to open up the markups list. Then I'm going to drag this up. And you're absolutely right. You know, the markups list usually sometimes stays hidden. If you all know of a way to keep the markups list kind of, let's say a quarter of the way, please let me know. I'd love to learn. While we're here, let's see if we have any other questions. If not, I got some new things. I don't know if you've seen this yet on Bluebeam Revu. I'd like to share with you because I know we have time.
I do have one question before you move to that. Well, David said you can also double click at the bottom of the tray. He was just added on there. But then I've got a question that says, if you do a wholesale update to your tools, can you reload them to the cloud?
So that is a good question. I'd have to get back to you on. When you start to go through and do the update, now I'll be honest with you. When I sent this to the tool chest to the Bluebeam cloud, once I sent it, like it disappeared here from my tool chest drop-down menu. But when you go online, when you go to app.bluebeam.com, you can simply go through and add. Let me do this right now. App.bluebeam.com. Now, this is going to be the same user experience when you load it on your phone. You sign in, and you're going to go through the web interface to update your tools. It's slowly opening up. And you'll notice over here I got studio projects and studio sessions. Folks, if you haven't seen this yet, this is phenomenal. Studio projects and sessions, there's nothing you need to do. When I click on studio projects, all the projects that I have on my desktop are automatically synced to Bluebeam Cloud, as well as studio sessions. There's nothing I need to do to upload. Having said that, if I go into a project, let's go over here and open up one of these drawings. Let's go over into a different one. I'll see on the left-hand side my tool chest in just a moment. Oh, it's locked. Why is it locked? Here we go. I just unlocked it. You'll notice over here, because it's a project, remember, when you open up a project in Bluebeam, when you double click on it, it's read only. This right here gives you the ability to go through and make those markups. So the tool chest is right over here. When I click on it, I can click plus sign right here and upload a tool set. So my suggestion is do your initial upload through Bluebeam Revu on the desktop. And then as you start to go through and create new ones, simply go through and upload your new tool set there. All right.
We do have a question. It says, have you guys seen a custom Bluebeam procedure for guiding a team of engineers and reviewers and designers for performing a design review in a systematic way?
Do we have something like that? Absolutely. Yes. So we offer classes and workshops on how to go through, if you're a permit tech or if you're an architect or general contractor or estimator, on how to utilize Bluebeam Revu for your workflows. And it's customized classes for your needs. So it's not generic. It is specific to your company, to your needs. And what we do here at Applied Software at GRAITEC is provide those workshops to you. If you're interested, again, please reach out to us at bluebeam@asti.com. And we'll put that in the chat here. So you can feel free to reach out to us. And I'd love to get together with you and find out what your workflow is. That's something I love to do.
I did throw that in the chat, and I put a link on the screen to take you to our training. All right, next question. Can Bluebeam add a tab to Bluebeam project to list what sheets have red lines? They have date modified, date created, checked out by last checked in, by size and type. This would make it easier to check what drawings have red lines.
Heck yeah, absolutely. So this is all controlled by the markups list. So when I go through and create something, I'm going to go through, let me delete these right here and show you how that can be done. And this is in the markups list. I got to tell you, who answered that? Answered that. I'm answering that. George or Jorge asked that question. And that's really, really important question. So let me go back and kind of let everyone know what we're trying to achieve here. Is in Bluebeam Revu, when you start to have all these different markups, you want an easy way to identify what's left to be picked up or what's outstanding or maybe what's rejected as, let's say, as a red line. And so using the markups list and the filter is going to be the key to that. So what I'm going to do over here is a couple things, and this is a great segue to customizing Bluebeam. It all involves customizing and starting with a profile. So let me paint a big picture, then I'll get into the nitty-gritty. What we're going to do is we're going to utilize statuses or a custom column to show what's red line, what needs to be picked up, and then filter showing just the things that still need to be redlined. Now, without having to create an additional column, we have a column over here called statuses. When we click on that and click on manage statuses, we can start to go through and create custom states to go through and have, for example, pending review or approved, redlined or picked up, right? As a simple thing. Then we can use the filter list just to show the things that are pending review. So as an example, you know what? Let me just show what's already here with the city review. I'm going to turn off these model states and I have pending review and approved. Okay. By default, what I can do is apply pending review. So when I create a red line, it's all going to be pending review. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. Let's go through and add some of these red lines. So I'm going to go over here and go to the arch comment. And I'm going to say, need to verify with manufacturer specs on elevator. And then let's do another one over here of match door sizes with adjacent door, right? Let's just do 2 for now. When we click on it over here, you'll notice it says pending review. So by default over here, this is already going to go through and append review. It's pending review. Now, what I've done, you notice that the color changed. When I have it as pending review, I'm going to go over here and add another one. Let's do a structure comment. And I'll just put whatever. This one, I'll right click, set the status to approved. Now I've set up my colors so that once they're approved, they're a certain color, and when they're pending, they're a different color. So here's what we can do. We can enable status over here and click the filter. And when we do this, by default, it's going to show everything. And in this case, to answer Jorge's question, or George, I'm just going to simply click pending review. I can start to use the markups list to filter just the things that I need to get done. In this case, the things that are still outstanding. You'll notice, by the way, the other red lines are still there, but they're grayed out. So this is a way that we can use the markups list to just navigate and just see the things that are important to us. You can customize the markups list to your heart's content. If you have any questions after this, I'll be happy to go through this one-on-one with you. But this is a major, major improvement to workflow on picking up red lines.
All right, so Bob had a comment, and then George or Jorge, I hope I'm saying it the right way, but Bob said I think he was referring to the project UI, not once a PDF is opened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be an improvement. Yes. To your point, absolutely. You know, here's a really nice thing that you can do. So the folks at Bluebeam, right, over in California, really listen to your questions, to your needs. And one of the things that they're pushing is what's called Bluebeam Community. Now, I will tell you from personal experience, talking to the developers and the top three at Bluebeam, they watch the comments in Bluebeam Community very closely. So Jorge, if you have a suggestion like that, so I think having like the to-do list, the action items, and the projects on the web or on portable devices would be awesome. And so maybe there's a way to have this be a filter that shows you your action items, like a dashboard. So I think that would be great. Put those suggestions in the community, and you'd be surprised how many of those things make it to new releases. Awesome.
All right. And George also said, this is great, but you need to open each. Do you need to open each to have red lines?
Yeah, and that was answering his question. You need to open. So Jorge asked, he says, yeah, thank you. He says, you need to open each PDF to open up the red lines. That's the way it would be now. Ideally, it'd be great to have this as a, an action item. So yeah, I agree. But for everyone else, by the way, the community is such an awesome place to go to. Again, to get there, just go to your help menu and it's built right in. When I click on Bluebeam Community, you can ask questions, you can search, again, sign in. It's absolutely free. And those are the kind of things that they're listening to. And plus, it's a way to kind of find out what's everyone else doing in the world of Bluebeam, literally the whole World Wide Web, right? So take a look. Any other questions? I got some things here that I'd love to show you all. One in particular, actually two things in particular that I think are fabulous. So if there aren't any other questions, let me show you all, while I have you, some really great features that just recently got released in the latest build of Bluebeam Revu. Again, to get the latest build, make sure to go to the help menu and check for updates. This is the easiest way to make sure that you get the latest, greatest tools here in Bluebeam Revu. The first one is if you have, let's say, a lot of red lines, right? They're right on top of each other, and you're like, I wish there was a way to just hide them. There is. You ready? Right click. Oh, I love right click. When I right click on it, now in Bluebeam Revu 21.3, there is a hide feature. Oh, what? Mic drop. I click hide, and now it hides that markup. Click another one, right click and hide. You can hide your markups. That's something that has been missing for quite some time. Think of it like AutoCAD. You can freeze a layer, or in Photoshop, the little eyeball to turn things on or off. No, I didn't wink at you. You can turn things off. But take a look over here. If I hover over this, I can see where those markups are. I can temporarily hide markups on any drawing. When I click on it again, it releases it, and now I can see the full visibility, and this is called hiding markups. The other one that is quite amazing is over here in the tool chest. If you're using a previous version, this is almost impossible. When you are looking for a specific tool, you can click inside the tool chest. Are you ready? And type in what you're looking for. So if you have hundreds of different tools, and I'm looking for tools specifically for the electrical, I start typing in ELE, and here are my ones for ELE elevation. So if I'm doing architecture, I do ARCH, and I have all my different tools, no matter where they are, as long as they're on in my tool chest, the tool sets will start to filter and show me just the tools that are here. So where does this come into play? If you're doing estimates, right? And I'm looking for a certain size steel that I'm putting in, or a widget, whatever that widget is, I can start to count it or place it simply by typing in what it is that I'm searching for. That way I can place those tools. When we start talking about standardizing the tools, this is a great way of increasing your use and efficiency of tools by using the search feature. If you don't see the search feature, you need to update to 21.3. Next, you ready for this? Drum roll. Dark mode. Like, what is dark mode? It is dark and it's mode and it's awesome. And here it is on the very bottom, dark mode. When I click on dark mode, my screen is inverted. What? Now, this is different than going through and changing the display from gray to white. This takes everything that's white and converts it to a different color. So if you have a monitor that is a high resolution monitor, you're staring at it for 8 or 10 hours a day, this is really easy on the eyes. But maybe you don't want it to be black. You want it to be a different color. I'm going to go over here to Review, go to Preferences, and you ready? You see the search? Just like the search that we have in the toolbar, if you don't know where things are, I use the search. Click dark. Inside here, dark. And there's dark mode. It takes me right to it, and here's dark mode. This is a new feature in 21.3. Over here, what I'm going to do is select a different color. Maybe I like blue for like Bluebeam or the old-fashioned blue line drawings. How cool is that? I got to tell you, I could stare at this for hours. This is really, really, if you're worried about eye strain and you're staring at a monitor like most people are for 8-10 hours a day, change your colors to a dark screen. People using AutoCAD are going to be like, yeah, we did this like 100 years ago, Revit people, where have you been? And so the same thing now in Review, we can now have a different background. Now, I'll tell you what though, this does not print like this. This is just on your monitor to kind of lessen the eye strain. Again, this is called dark mode. Pretty darn cool. All right. What other things? Do we have any other new questions?
We don't have any new questions.
All right. Are you ready for some more? Can I get a whoop, whoop?
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So another thing that you can do, I love search, right? Searching. So Bluebeam Revu is a database of all of this information that lays on top of the drawing. What people don't realize in the markups list, not only can you filter and just show different columns of information, but you can search for data. So as a project manager, you start to go through and make all these different markups on your drawings. You're like, I made a markup about something, whatever it is. Click on search over here and I can type in door, for example. And over here, it just shows me the markup or markups that have everything related to doors. So imagine the possibility. If you have hundreds of drawing sheets and you're looking for something specific, but you don't know what sheet it is on, all you have to do is type it in right here and it automatically takes you to that comment, to that markup. Then you can select it and deal with it. I'm telling you, I love Bluebeam. I use it every day. It's funny. I actually used it the other day for graphic design. I was doing a flyer, believe it or not, a flyer. Instead of using Photoshop or Canva, I used Bluebeam to add all my information. And I made a flyer in Bluebeam Revu. Who knew? Who knew? And to clear the search over here, I'm going to clear this out. Another thing that we can start to do is when we select an object over here and adjust its status. This is also a new feature in Bluebeam where before you'd go to status and check here. If you're like me, you love shortcuts. Now they've included shortcuts. So when I have my statuses set up, all I have to do is hit Shift 1 or Shift 2. In this case, if I had 5 or 10 or 20, well, maybe not 20, let's say up to 10 or 9, I would go through, 10, All I'd have to do is do shift and the number. So how does that work? I'm going to click and place a generic cloud, right? I want to put this on a status. I don't have to do anything other than do shift 1, and now it changes it to pending. Did you see what I just did? Over here, it now automatically changed that to pending because on my keyboard, I did shift and 1. I love shortcut keys. And by the way, I only use like 5 of them and now 6 because this is just super, super easy. And by the way, did you all know about the shortcut keys over here under My Tools? If you've taken any of my classes, you know that these right here, I call the junk drawer because they're kind of like junk. I can go over here. It's not that they're junk, but if I want to go through and drag a tool, I can place it right over here out of one of these tool sets and temporarily put it over here under My Tools. Now, what's unique about this is if you notice on your computers, they have a number system. Well, what the heck is that number system for? Over here, it's a shortcut. A shortcut. That's right. So 1, 2, 3. Watch this. Without diving into the tool chest, I'm even going to minimize it, and I'm going to hit the number 1, and there it is. And now I'm adding that one. If I go over here and want my highlighter, which is number 2, guess what? All I have to do is hit the number 2, and now I have a highlighter. If I want to change I want my highlighter to be number 1, left click and just drag it to the number 1 place. If you want a rectangle, drag that up there. So now that's number 1. Who's number 1? Rectangles are. So now, I geek out on this stuff. Hit R or the number 1. So many times, all of your tools over here have shortcuts, right? If you want a list of what those shortcuts are, you can go to the help menu and open up the keyboard shortcut guide, print this out. But there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. An easier way of doing this, use the one that you need to do at the time. Take it from your tool set, drag it over here under My Tools, and then use your shortcut keys. This is the power of My Tools. Mike. All right. With that, I want to give a big thank you to everyone that's here. There's so much. I could go on and on. Misty, I love Blue. I love Bluebeam.
I know you do.
I do. And I'll tell you, folks, if you would like to improve your skills, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a geek. I'm a tech support geek. Let me make your life easier using Bluebeam Revu. Hit me up with a challenge. Send it to bluebeam@asti.com. That's bluebeam@asti.com and say, I got a challenge for you, Rick. I'm trying to do this. I'd love the challenge. Let me see if I can improve your workflow. Or I'll buy you a drink if you're here in Florida. How's that?
Hey, that sounds like a good deal, I'd pick you up on that if I was in Florida. But yeah, I do want to thank everyone for joining. We hope it was meaningful, impactful for you and your businesses. Rick, as always, thank you so much for joining our Bluebeam webinar today. And I did get a question in the chat. If you will receive a recording, you will by 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. If not, you can reach out to me at mscott@asti.com. But we do look forward to seeing you all in future webinars. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
And if we don't see you, enjoy your pumpkin. It was really pumpkin
pie. Yes, pumpkin pie.
Oh. And when we come back next time, I'll tell you if I get a chance to try sweet potato pie. Ooh,
give it a try. You might like it. All
right. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.